Welcome to the Women's Nurturing Circle, everyone. I'm very, very happy to have Angela Mojica with me today. And we will be talking about the importance and also some of the practical tips and ways that we can connect with nature. So today will be a very interesting podcast and interview with Angela. Angela is very, very experienced in connecting with nature. She's very creative about it. She comes from the field of marine biology, but through time also she developed many skills to interact also with the terrestrial terrain and terrestrial nature. So she's also working as a feng shui consultant and also as a landscape designer. She has a beautiful farm project in Guatemala that is just stunning. So she has definitely a very, very special talent in designing beautiful spaces and beautiful landscapes. And yeah, Angela, I'm so glad to have you here with us today. And I'm very curious about, what do you think is important to consider, like in general, in the relationship with nature, and what brought you to this path, and how your relationship with nature has evolved over time.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. And hello, everybody. I feel very honored to be here sharing one of my passions with all of you. Um, I think I will start with the question about how I connected with nature. I had the fortune that my parents love nature too. And because of that, we spent a lot of our family vacation visiting the forest, camping at the beach, and doing these sort of things that were very simple, but for me were magical. And I think that's what took me through my life. When it was the time to think about what I wanted to study, for me, biology was a very natural transition to understand more what was that it fascinated me so much. And so I want to study marine biology first and then marine ecology. And I always loved plants too. And after having my daughter, who is now 4 years old, I sort of switched and started changing my activities to not having to travel so much. And that's how I more or less got into and we also got a beautiful piece of land where I had the opportunity to start um, creating a really beautiful garden. So we have different. It's a garden that has a small plantation with fruits. We are also starting the garden vegetable um, part of it, and we have a garden for the senses. So it was also a very personal experiment and a journey. That's a bit how I got into this, and it was something very deep that had always existed, but it was, I guess, the right moment to take it out and to explore it more personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, have you noticed any changes now that you're interacting with plants more and that you're so involved with ground and soil and the whole planting process? Have you noticed any changes in yourself, in your family?
Absolutely, it's after living 1 year and a half almost inside our project. It's a beautiful piece of land that it's also closer to the forest in Antigua, Guatemala, where we live. Um, just the fact that you are closer to nature and you can hear it and you can see it more easily, you start noticing changes. You know what is happening at different times of the years. You notice how the temperature of the air changes, or the rain patterns, and some of the birds, for example, that come and go depending on that time of the year. Also, because we planted our garden and we take care of it too, you start seeing the different dynamics. Sometimes you have a lot more flowers on certain parts of them, or you have a lot of butterflies. The fact that you take the time to smell, to touch, it it really relaxes you. It brings you, and not that you can be aware, oh, I'm more relaxed right now, but it does bring this effect that it's very calming. You take the time to go out to take a walk, to take your shoes off and to feel the texture below your feet. For my daughter, it's fantastic. We don't, not that she never sees something on the TV, but she loves to be outside. She's fun, she plays. Um, and for us, for my husband and myself, it's been very interesting to feel the change. We have a bit of a problem with allergies, and just that has improved already. I think from feeling better in a more open space. Um, so yeah, and when I feel a bit stressed, my automatic response is to go out and find a place where I can sit and think or reflect on what I'm going through. But it does really changes your self-being in a very subtle way sometimes.
Yes, I have had the luck and the privilege to visit your farm in Guatemala a couple of years back. Back then, it was still not finished the project, but a lot of groundwork was already done, and yeah, it's such a beautiful place. Really, really magical, special, absolutely beautifully designed and thought through, and yeah, I think also all the little kind of pieces of soil and rocks and plants and the house and Temazcal that you have also recently built. Like they all kind of tell a very special story. And the location is also up on the hill overlooking the valley. So really beautiful, very, very special place. And yeah, what came to my mind while I was listening to you is that, yeah, I've lived in many different environments over the years. Some of them were much more urban, others were much more rural and in the nature. And I realized quite early how my energy is very different, how I feel like a different person when I'm living closer to the nature, when there is this, powerful greenery or ocean or whatever that is kind of giving me this sense of rootedness and groundedness. And I absolutely agree with you on what you said on the stress levels. Yeah, it's automatically calming for the nervous system to be surrounded by nature. Now I realize when I go into the urban settings and I stay there for a while that yeah, it's kind of a very different vibe, a very different experience. I think all of these also, sounds and like this hectical vibe of a city life. Sometimes we don't even register it, but on a subconscious level, our mind, our body feels it all, and it definitely can be unnerving, unsettling. Yeah, and somehow I thought we can explore also the effects of nature on the nervous system.
Actually, and that is, I'm very excited. I won't spoil the workshop we will be organizing very soon, but that's part of the first segment of the workshop. I am passionate about understanding how we humans get connected with nature. So it's not my own scientific work, but there is really incredible science being developed out there. I will be happy to share the cover of the book I'm reading. But we as humans, our human design, it has been made to connect with nature, and this is something I think most people don't know or don't remember, and we are not aware of that. There is a reason why in for vacation a lot of people love to go to the beach or wants to go hiking or wants to be in a pool or wants to be out there. The reason is because nature heals. It's in a very general way, but some of the very specific effects that have been measured, they have to do with the your rate heart. It decreases the blood pressure. It also decreases the amount of cortisol that our body secrete when you are under stress, um, the capacity and the time it gets you to recover after after a stressful moment. For example, they have done studies with students, small kids, and also students at the university level. When you have access from your classroom to nature, even if it's not a real window, but it's even a picture, some classrooms don't even have windows in comparison to a urban image or another building. Um, the capacity to recovery and the cognitive capacity improves in those places where you have access to nature. And that is because we connect to nature, we connect through our senses. We are very visual, a lot more than we think, and our subconscious continues to work on what we see, even if we're not aware of what we're seeing. So this is why it's what we see. It's very important. This is another thing I've been exploring through Feng Shui, but it's all connected. Our hearing, that's why when we hear the waves of the ocean or when we hear the birds, usually we get calm. Of course, if you hear the roaring of lions, you won't be that calm, that calm. But it's obvious that there is your senses are picking up on something, and that connection, it can be very specialized. It's a lot more developed than we think. I can tell you, uh, there are some smells that are so powerful and incredible. They can make, after 20 minutes, they can make your body secrete certain cells that fight cancer. How is that possible? That tells you that the connection we have, it's really wonderful. And it's about us being aware and being connected with intention. Um, you know?
Yes, it is truly fascinating, and probably operates on some primordial level, because we have evolved, and like you said, our human design is so connected with the nature. The urban modern human is a very recent development if we look at the history of evolution. Yes, truly fascinating. I remembered also how the Japanese, they have this traditional forest bathing, and whenever someone is feeling stressed or unwell, they go out to the forest, and apparently, yes, it reduces cortisol levels and also boosts the immune response of our bodies. Yeah, I definitely not only believe but know empirically from my own experience that nature heals us, and there is so much goodness there. So easy to forget about that in the hectical, production-driven lifestyle of today. And which makes me also wonder, I know when we were discussing about the idea of this podcast and also the workshop that you will organize, we'll talk a little bit more about that soon. How can we, people maybe who don't have that much access to the nature close by, how can we add a little bit of nature into our environments?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That is really important. I was thinking that some people may be thinking, oh, great, but you have a piece of land or a project, and not everybody does. But we all can get closer. This project of our own with my family, it's a recent thing, but there are many options for us to connect. So. One thing is to bring some nature into your house, and another thing that I will go into in a moment, it's how we can, even if we have no terrace, no balcony, or no garden, how we can start looking intentionally for places where we can recharge. So the first part, you can always bring nature to your home. You can take a look, for example, of the decoration, the images you have at home. And if you are feeling you are missing some nature, you can change them for photographs, or you can bring some plants inside. Of course, it's not as to be inside a forest, but every single thing adds to how you feel and adds to the atmosphere and the harmony you can have and the connection. So it's been proven, for example, that if you have a vase of flowers, you usually relax more. In one of the books I'm reading, that it's super interesting, they did an experiment and people having meetings in a professional environment. Flowers that are orange, that are white with roses in that case, but you can do them with flowers that have soft scent. They will relax you. So even if you have something stressful to do in your day to day, you can bring things that will light you up. And believe it or not, it helps. Um, if you are going to change your house, rent another apartment or something, keep this in mind. It is important that hopefully you can have a view where you can see the forest, the lake, wherever it is that you are. Even for your kids, if you are thinking about finding a good school or a good place for them, having a place that give them access to nature, even from the classroom or afterwards, it is important for the development. So for me, these are all practical things that if you know, you have a different level of awareness to look for them. And about going out and finding nature, connecting with nature, I think that one of the best ways to do this is to see what time available you have. I can go out, for example, once a week to a park or to do a hike. Start by thinking about the time you have because it really comes from your willingness to connect and also to look for options so you can see what is available where I live. Is it a zoo? Is it a botanical garden? Is it a park? Is it a forest? It will be very different depending on your context, but I do believe that there are always options. And once you get there, you can, and that's another part of the workshop, you can connect very intuitively with the environment you are. But I think keeping this in mind and knowing that you're doing this for yourself, for your health, for your well-being, it already brings a different way of seeing, and it's an investment in yourself also.
Yes, so beautifully put. I think that brings a dose of international intentionality in the process, right? To be very intentional about how we spend our days and also how we nurture ourselves, which this platform is all about. So yeah, I'm very happy that you brought this part up to definitely become more focused and integrate that in our daily lives as something that we do for ourselves, for our health, for our actually mental, spiritual, physical, emotional health, for our nervous system regulation. Yeah, it shouldn't be like something that we do every now and then when we find some time. It should be a priority.
That's what it's really about. If you go to the park to take your dog for a walk, do it. Maybe you're already doing it, but you can connect differently. Maybe you can take your shoes off, and maybe you can start experimenting. Why is it that you like this side of the park better? Or you can try an experiment and feel it. It will feel different because maybe there is more shade, more trees, or less people, or more flowers. But usually, even when we don't know it, we are attracted to different places for a reason, and our senses are always connecting to wherever we are. So it's really wonderful to be aware of that and to discover where that takes you.
Yes, indeed, Angela. Um, let's talk a little bit about the workshop. Angela and Luisa will be organizing a workshop on the 27th of April. And I think we'll start at 5:30, so actually 5:30 p.m. European time. and the workshop will be 1.5 hours. It will be online over Zoom. We'll all connect, and Angela has some beautiful ideas of how to integrate and connect more with nature in our lives to boost our awareness of it, the benefits that we get, and also some practical tips and ideas. So if you care to share a little bit more about the workshop, and of course we are so happy to have you with us to join and to kind of go into this journey and into this story led by Angela and her wisdom in her wisdom in this field.
Thank you. Well, we are very excited to prepare this workshop for all of you. The first part, we have three segments. The first part, it's about science and how we are connecting. I think it's super interesting. This is this part of me that is very scientific and it's very curious, but I think it's worthwhile to share some of the resources and the latest science, and for more people to think that this is really happening. It's not just not just a new age way of thinking. It happens.
Yes, not just a hippie hippie construct. Yeah. Mm.
It's, I think knowing that it's super exciting, and it gives you a different way of looking at this. The second part that I will be giving, it's more practical. It's about designing, helping people design a way to connect with nature depending on the context, giving options, teaching them certain dynamics that you can do in 30 minutes. I think that's the between 20 and 30 minutes. It's the shortest time you can start having impacts, physical impacts in your body, in your emotions, and in your mind state. So this works on all levels.
Sorry to interrupt, Angela. So we need to reserve 20 to 30 minutes at least. Would that be the idea?
That's the minimum for in most things I have read. There are different practices. This is the very minimum so that you can start have physical, emotional, and mental feelings and changes in your body. That's not to say, as I explained before, just by being able to watch through your window couple minutes, it relaxes you. But if you are, let's say, going on a hike, this would be the minimum so that you really can get more impacts, beneficial impacts on yourself. And so that's the idea about the practical thing, to respond to questions and to help participants build and design different routines, dynamics, and ideas about how to connect to whatever nature you have around. I believe that it is possible for everybody. And then Luisa will be doing the third segment. This is we will go in more depth into the taste, how through the taste we connect with nature. She will be giving some recipes with certain plants that are very easy to grow and to harvest within your home, even if you don't have a balcony, and specific recipes to taste them. Because taste is also a way to connect with nature. We don't use it when we are outside all the time. We tend to touch, smell, and see. But the tasting is also very important.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The taste buds are, yeah, also actually connected to the nature. Everything we eat comes from the nature. So yeah, yeah. I'm so excited to participate in the workshop. I'm so excited about the practices that you will share with us and little simple tips and tricks that can really increase the quality of our environments and increase the consciousness of how important our immersion in the nature is. And yeah, I would love to thank you for this interview. Do you have any last things that you would like to add? Or do you think we've covered most of it?
I hope you will come to the workshop. I'm really excited to share what I have learned, and go out, close your eyes, connect with nature, feel what is around you, and start exploring that world.
Amazing, amazing. So yeah, whoever is interested, please we'll share the link below this video to you can click on it and you can register and reserve your spot for the workshop. And we are super excited to see you on the 27th of April. Bye
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye.